right, everyone, welcome back. So glad you could join us, because today I've got a story that's gonna blow your mind. Buckle up, because this one is a wild ride. It started like any Tuesday in the city. Little Leo had finally drifted off for his nap, and the apartment was actually silent for once. I was planning on savoring that peace by tackling the mountain of dishes in the sink. Real domestic bliss, right? Then the buzzer rang. First thought, delivery. Maybe one of those persistent door-to-door guys. If only. Instead, I opened the door and there he was, like he'd stepped out of a magazine ad. Sharp suit, flashy watch, and a smirk that just radiated bad news. He leaned against the doorframe, totally at home. "You, Jake?" he asked, like he already knew the answer. "Who's asking?" I shot back, not even trying to hide my annoyance. I was in zero mood for games. "Let me introduce myself," he said, smooth as silk, like he was pitching me some deal. "Name's Chad Hamilton. I'm your wife's lover." I froze. My hand tightened on the doorknob, grip going white-knuckle. The words just hung there, not quite registering. Surely I'd misheard him. But then he leaned in, voice dropping to a conspiratorial whisper. "She's pregnant," he said, that smirk widening, dripping with smug confidence. "And by the way, this penthouse? Yeah, she's been footing the bill. With your money." For a second, everything went silent. The city noise outside faded. Leo's soft breathing from upstairs vanished. The world tilted. I had no response. No witty comeback to throw in his face, nothing. Just stared at him, trying to make sense of the garbage spilling out of his mouth. He took my silence as a green light to keep going. "Look, man, figured you deserved to know. She's been telling me all about your perfect marriage. Guess it's not so perfect, huh?" That smirk again. He was loving this, soaking it up, getting off on watching me crumble. "You're lying," I managed, voice weak, pathetic. He just shrugged, pulled out his phone. "Proof? You want proof? Photos, texts, the whole shebang." She's been pretty generous with the details. I didn't look at the phone. Didn't need to. The way he was talking, the casual arrogance, screamed truth. But even then, it was like my brain was refusing to process it. My wife. Pregnant. With his kid. Using my paycheck to fund his luxury life. "Why are you here?" I finally asked, voice sharper now, edged with anger. "What do you want?" Chad smiled, leaning in just a fraction, enough to make me want to rearrange his perfect teeth. "Closure," he said. "Figured you deserved to know the real story. Hey, maybe this saves you some time, you know? No need to waste energy on a woman who clearly doesn't respect you." Every cell in my body screamed to slam the door in his face, wipe that smirk off his face with one solid punch. Mostly I just wanted to wake up. This had to be some sick joke. Upstairs, Leo stirred in his crib, a tiny sound. But it anchored me, pulled me back. I glanced towards the stairs. Instinct kicked in. Whatever this guy's game was, he wasn't going to disrupt my son's peace. "I think you've said enough," I said, stepping back, hand tight on the door. Chad chuckled, clearly enjoying himself way too much. "Suit yourself, Jake. But if you ever want the full story, you know where to find me." And with that, he turned and walked away, leaving me standing there, hand still clamped to the door frame like it was the only thing keeping me upright. The door clicked shut. Then the anger hit, a wave of pure, raw fury that made me shake. My wife's lover, my money, a baby. The sheer audacity of it was overwhelming, but beneath the shock, something else started to take hold. Cold, focused rage. This wasn't over, not by a long shot. I stood there, hands still on the doorknob, long after Chad was gone. The nerve of him, showing up at my door, smirking like he owned the place, like he owned my life. First instinct was to chase after him, drag him back, make him swallow every word. But I didn't. Instead, I took a deep breath, closed the door. No way I was giving that guy the satisfaction of seeing me lose it. Not yet. The apartment was quiet again, except for the faint creak of Leo's crib upstairs. He was still asleep, blissfully ignorant of the bomb that had just dropped downstairs. I envied him for a second. How could Sarah risk tearing this apart? Leo's tiny laugh, his first steps, the bedtime stories. Were none of those moments real to her? But I couldn't go there. Not now. I needed clarity, not emotion. Walking to the kitchen, I grabbed a glass of water, leaned against the counter. My mind replayed the scene at the door, over and over. Every word Chad said, every smug look. Was he telling the truth? Or was this some elaborate, cruel joke? I thought about calling Sarah right then, dialing her number, demanding answers. But what would that accomplish? If she was guilty, she'd lie. If she wasn't, I'd look like a fool for believing some stranger over my own wife. No. I needed more than words. I needed proof, so I did what any rational person would do in my position. I started digging. First stop, her phone. She always left it on the kitchen counter when she left for her fancy job downtown. I picked it up, feeling the weight of it in my hand, like it was Pandora's box. Unlocking it was child's play. Her passcode hadn't changed in years. Messages were clean. No texts from Chad, no suspicious threads that jumped out. But I knew better than to stop there. Photos told a different story. There they were. Photos of Sarah and Chad at some dimly lit restaurant, wine glasses between them, faces way too close. Another of them on a balcony, Manhattan's skyline stretching behind them in the sunset. The kicker, a blurry shot of them in what looked like a luxury penthouse. She was laughing, his arm around her waist. I put the phone down, stomach churning. Next, her laptop. She rarely used it, which meant she probably hadn't bothered to cover her tracks there. Sure enough, browser history painted a damning picture. Searches for luxury penthouses downtown, prenatal yoga classes, and, God help me, how to tell your husband about your affair. It wasn't just the affair that hit like a punch to the gut. It was the arrogance, the audacity to plan her escape while still playing happy family at home. Still, I kept it together. No yelling, no punching walls. That wouldn't solve anything. Instead, I kept digging, piecing together her web of lies. Financial records were next. Pulled up our joint accounts on my phone, scrolling through transactions I didn't recognize. High-end restaurants, boutique shopping sprees, payments to a leasing company I'd never heard of. It all added up to one glaring, sickening truth. Chad hadn't been lying. By the time I was done, it was late afternoon. Leo was awake, happily playing with his blocks in the living room, oblivious to the earthquake shaking our world just feet away. I sat on the couch, watching him, feeling this strange calm wash over me. Not peaceful. Calm before a storm. The kind where everything sharpens, every move becomes deliberate. One thing was crystal clear. Chad Hamilton thought he could rattle me, break me. Expected me to lash out, crumble under the weight of his little bombshell. Not gonna happen. I'd play it smart. Gather every piece of evidence, document every lie. When the time came, I wouldn't just confront her. I'd dismantle the whole damn house of cards she'd built. She wanted to play games. Fine. But she'd underestimated the man she married. By the time Sarah walked through the door that evening, I was someone else. Someone I barely recognized. A man with ice in his veins. The chaos I felt earlier had solidified into something cold, calculating. My wife. The woman I thought I knew better than anyone. Had betrayed me in ways I couldn't even wrap my head around. But tonight, she wouldn't see the cracks. Not yet. "Hey, love," she said, dropping her bag on the counter, leaning in for the usual kiss. I let her peck my cheek, fighting the urge to flinch away. Leo's laughter drifted in from the living room, a cruel reminder of the life we'd built. Or the illusion of it. "Long day?" I asked, voice steady, almost casual. She sighed, rubbing her temples. "Exhausting. Clients were a nightmare." I nodded, watching her closely. "Sounds rough. Wine?" She looked at me, surprised. "That's sweet of you." "Sure." I poured her a glass, each movement slow, deliberate. As she sipped, I studied her. Relaxed posture, the way she smiled as she asked about Leo's day. Almost impressive how effortlessly she played the devoted wife and mother. Almost. Dinner passed in much the same way. We laughed about Leo's antics, talked about work, made vague plans for the weekend. All the while, my mind replayed the evidence. Photos, receipts, damning browser history, staring me in the face. But I wasn't ready to confront her yet, not until I had the full picture. After dinner, while she gave Leo his bath, I slipped upstairs to her closet. Heart hammering, I rifled through her things. Clothes, shoes, the usual. Then, tucked inside a shoebox at the back of the closet, I found it. A stack of papers, envelopes bound with a rubber band. Sat on the floor, sifted through them. Stomach tightening with every page. Hotel receipts, credit card statements, even a handwritten note from Chad. Signed, "Yours always." Hands shaking, I read each line, the weight of her betrayal crushing me. She hadn't just been careless, she'd been bold, brazen, like she thought I was a complete idiot. I put the papers back exactly as I found them, went downstairs just as she was tucking Leo into bed. Watching her kiss his forehead, face soft with motherly love, made my blood boil. How could she do this? To me? To our son? Did she even care about the wreckage she was creating? When she came downstairs, I was in the living room, pretending to scroll through my phone. She plopped onto the couch beside me, rested her head on my shoulder. "Exhausted," she murmured, voice tinged with affection. "Can we just watch something mindless tonight?" I nodded, forcing a smile. "Sure." As we watched some rerun of a sitcom, I couldn't help but marvel at her performance, sitting there laughing at stupid jokes, like everything was normal, like she wasn't actively tearing our family apart. But I played along, let her believe I was clueless. That night, after she fell asleep, I got back to work. Her phone was first. This time, I wasn't looking for messages or photos. Checked her apps, email accounts, payment notifications. Didn't take long to find it. Payment schedule for the penthouse Chad mentioned. She'd been using our joint account to cover the rent, funneling the money through some secondary account I didn't even know existed. Next, her laptop. Dug deeper. Deleted files, hidden folders. And there it was. A folder labeled work stuff, buried so deep it was almost comical. Inside, screenshots of text conversations with Chad, photos of them together, and the most damning of all, a draft email to a lawyer. Divorce proceedings. Subject line, timeline for separation. Sat back, staring at the screen, chest tight with rage and disbelief. She wasn't just cheating. She was planning her escape and funding it with my money. For the first time that day, I let myself feel the full force of it. Betrayal, humiliation, anger, hit me all at once, leaving me breathless. But even then, one thing was clear. She wouldn't win. She thought she had the upper hand. Wrong. She'd underestimated me. Big time. Next morning, I woke up with a clarity I hadn't felt in years. Rage was still there, simmering, but it had transformed. Useful now. Focused. No lashing out. I was going to dismantle her web of lies, thread by thread, until she had nowhere left to hide. As she left for work, kissing Leo, offering me a smile that made my stomach churn, I stayed silent, nodded, played my part, waited for her to drive off. Then I got to work. First call, Mark Reynolds, my lawyer, friend since college. Never thought I'd need him for something like this. But he was the first person I trusted to guide me through this storm. "Mark, I need your help," I said, voice steadier than I expected. "Of course, Jake. What's going on?" Concern in his voice. I laid it all out. Chad's visit, the penthouse, the affair, the money. He listened, quiet, asking sharp questions. By the time I finished, I could hear him furiously taking notes. "This isn't just infidelity, Jake," he said after a pause. "This is fraud. If she's been using your money without your consent to fund this other life, that's a legal issue. We need to move fast." Mark's words gave me direction. Purpose. This wasn't just about revenge. It was about protecting what was mine. Leo. Our finances. The life I'd busted my ass to build. She wasn't going to take that away from me. Mark advised gathering as much evidence as possible, so I spent the rest of the day digging. Printed bank statements, flagged suspicious transactions, compiled screenshots of texts, emails, receipts. Every piece of evidence went into a folder, each item another nail in the coffin of her deception. But I wasn't just prepping for legal action. I was preparing for the moment she walked through that door. No yelling, no arguing. I wanted her to feel the full weight of what she'd done, understand she couldn't lie her way out of this. By late afternoon, the apartment was quiet, Leo napping, soft sound of his breathing, reminder of why I was doing this. He was innocent in all this. I wasn't going to let her selfishness ruin his future. 6:15 p.m. Heard her car pull into the parking garage. Heart raced, but I stayed calm. Sat at the dining table, evidence folder in front of me. Waited. She walked in, looked surprised to see me sitting there. "Hey, you're not cooking tonight?" she asked, dropping her bag. "Not tonight," I said, voice even. "We need to talk." Something in my tone must have tipped her off. Smile faltered. "What's going on?" I gestured to the seat across from me. "Sit down." She hesitated, eyes flicking to the folder. "Jake, what is this?" "Sit," I repeated, voice firm, calm. After a moment, she did. Cautious movements like she was already bracing for impact. Opened the folder, slid the first page across the table. Printout of the penthouse payment schedule. "You recognize this?" Her face paled. Silence. "Let me help you out," I continued, pulling out the next page. Screenshot of her texts with Chad. "How about this? Jog your memory?" "Jake, I can explain." I held up a hand, cutting her off. "No. You've been explaining for months, haven't you? All those late nights at work, the extra expenses you conveniently forgot to mention. All one big lie." She opened her mouth, but I wasn't done. Pulled out the final piece, printout of the email to her lawyer, divorce proceedings. "And then there's this, your timeline for leaving me. Very thorough, by the way." Eyes filled with tears. No sympathy. "Jake, please." "When?" I snapped, my carefully constructed calm finally cracking. "When were you going to tell me? When you drained our accounts, packed your bags and left me to pick up the pieces? Or maybe when Leo was old enough to ask why his mother walked out?" She looked down, couldn't meet my gaze. "I made a mistake." "Mistake?" I laughed, bitter. "This wasn't a mistake. This was a calculated betrayal. You didn't just hurt me. You hurt our family." Silence. Only sound, the clock ticking on the wall. Then she looked up, expression shifting, guilt to defiance. "You don't understand." "No," I interrupted. "You don't understand. This isn't just about you and Chad. This is about our son, our life, and the trust you've destroyed. Believe me, you're going to pay for it." Stood, grabbed the folder. "Leo and I are staying with my parents tonight. When I get back, divorce papers will be waiting. And trust me, they'll be very thorough." She called after me, begging me to stay, to talk, to listen. Didn't stop. Done listening. Packed Leo's things, carried him to the car. Felt a strange relief. For the first time in months, the lies were over. Time to take back control. Next morning, guest room at my parents'. Leo still asleep, curled up next to me. Favorite stuffed giraffe. Weight of everything crashed down again. Betrayal, lies, Chad standing on my doorstep flaunting my wife's infidelity. Walking away wasn't enough. Chad Hamilton had played a part in this. Wasn't going to let him get away with it. Spent most of the night organizing evidence against him, Wasn't just about the affair anymore. He'd been living in a penthouse I was paying for, expensive dinners, all my dime, and daring to show up at my place like he was untouchable. He was about to learn how wrong he was. First thing, call Mark. "Mark, need your help with something," I said, voice steady despite the fire inside. Not just the divorce now. Chad Hamilton. Mark didn't need convincing. "I'll look into him," he said. "If he's been financially benefiting from your wife's actions, we can make this very uncomfortable." "Got plenty of evidence," I said. "Receipts, bank statements, photos." Sending everything over. Hung up. Decided to go further. Not just legal action. Wanted Chad to feel the real-world consequences of his arrogance. Called a private investigator. "Need everything you can find on a man named Chad Hamilton," I told him. "Work, habits, connections, everything." Investigator was efficient. Hours later he called back. Information made my blood boil. Chad wasn't just some smug lover, con artist. History of targeting married women for financial gain. Trail of broken relationships. Women left in financial ruin while he walked away clean. That was it. Final straw. Wasn't letting him escape. Next step direct. Knew where he lived. Luxury penthouse I was paying for. Knew he'd be there tonight. Waited till dark. Drove to the address. Mark, private investigator, with me. Stood outside the building staring up at the windows. Wasn't just revenge. Making sure Chad Hamilton never pulled this again. Elevator up to his floor. Heart pounding. Mark carried a folder, legal notice. Hit him where it hurt most. His wallet. Door opened. Chad's smug smile faltered. Didn't expect me, let alone the entourage. "Jake," he said, recovering fast. Surprise. Not a pleasant one, I'm sure. "Not pleasant at all," I said, stepping into the penthouse. No invitation needed. "We need to talk." Chad crossed his arms, leaning against the wall. "Don't know what you think you're doing here, but—" "I know everything," I interrupted. "Penthouse, dinners, the money. I have receipts, Chad. Literal receipts." He hesitated, confidence wavering. "Look, man, this is between you and your wife." "Wrong," I said, voice cutting through his BS. "This is about you leeching off my life. Thought you could walk in, take what's mine, walk away. Not happening." Mark stepped forward, handing him the legal documents. "You're being served," he said, professional, firm. "These outline financial damages you've caused, restitution you're expected to pay. Suggest you read them carefully." Chad's smirk gone. "Restitution," he echoed, voice rising. "You can't be serious." "Oh, we're very serious," I said. "You've been living off my money, Chad. Every dollar, every meal, every luxury. From my account. You're paying it all back, or we'll see how much you enjoy explaining yourself in court." For the first time, Chad looked genuinely nervous. Opened his mouth to argue, stopped when Mark pulled out a second folder. "This contains everything we've uncovered about your past," Mark said. "If you fight this, we'll make sure your history comes to light. Every scam, every scheme, public record." Chad paled, cornered. "Get out," he said, voice low, defeated. "Take your papers, get out." Stepped closer, staring him down. "Oh, I'm leaving," I said. But don't think for a second this is over. You wanted to play games with my life? Congratulations. You lost. Walking back to the elevator felt satisfaction I hadn't felt in days. Wasn't over. But this was a win. Chad Hamilton had walked into my life, thought he could take what he wanted. Now he was paying the price. And I wasn't done yet. Aftermath with Chad, satisfying. Just the beginning. Taking him down one thing. Dealing with Sarah, the mess she created. Another. Clean break from all this. Needed to tie up every loose end. Legally, financially. Protecting myself. Protecting Leo's future. More than just myself. Day after Chad, met Mark's office. He'd been working non-stop, digging through Sarah's financial transactions. What he found, worse than imagined. Joint funds, more than just the penthouse, Mark began. Documents on desk. Transactions, direct payments to Chad. Thousands, months. Extravagant shopping, vacations, private expenses, never disclosed. Stared at documents. Fury, betrayal. How much are we talking? Mark tapped figure. Close to $200,000. Not just infidelity, Jake. Fraud. Systematically draining your accounts. Double life. Clenched fists, jaw tight. Options? Mark leaned back, serious. Divorce proceedings. Evidence we have. Full custody of Leo. Financial restitution. Potentially criminal charges. Misuse of funds. But risk. Risk. He hesitated. Public could get ugly. She might play victim, emotional distress, excuse. Leo. Messy court battle, impact him, even if too young to understand. Nodded, slowly. Weight of it. Don't care about public. Leo, only reason doing this? Mark nodded. Another folder. Initial paperwork, divorce, custody, presenter evidence, see response, fights back, escalate. Next step, confronting her. Not anger, not shouting, cold, hard facts. Understand, not negotiation. Reckoning. That evening she came home. Waiting again. No small talk, pleasantries. Door opened, handed her folder of evidence. What's this? Weary voice. Everything, I said simply. Every dollar stolen, every lie, every betrayal. All there. Opened folder, trembling hands, face changed, confusion, disbelief, panic. Jake, I can explain. No, I interrupted. No explaining. Months, years to come clean. Didn't. Lied to me, Leo, everyone. Result of your choices. Tears welled. Nothing beyond sympathy. Jake, please, she whispered. Mistakes. But I love you. Love Leo. Fix this. Bitter laugh. Fix this? Double life, siphoning money, affair. Betrayed me every way possible. How do you fix that? Reached for my hand. Stepped back. Don't, I said, firm. Not something you apologize for. Destroyed everything we built. Broke down, sobbing. Tears didn't move me. Handed her another folder. Divorce papers. Sign these, I said. Full custody of Leo. Financial restitution. Don't court. More than enough evidence to ruin you. Head snapped up. Sorrow to defiance. You can't do that. shaking voice. Can't take my son. Watch me, I said, cold. Put him at risk. Moment you brought Chad in. Used his future, fund your life. Don't deserve him. Stared, face pale, uneven breathing. Then futility sinking in, nodded. I'll sign. Surge of relief. Didn't show it. Good. Mark will be in touch, your lawyer. Everything through them. Hear from me. Finalize custody. Looked like arguing. Didn't. Slumped in chair, defeated. I'm sorry, she whispered. For everything. No response. Nothing left to say. Walked out. Closure. Not the end. Just beginning. Long. Difficult. But for first time weeks, control. Her lies nearly destroyed me. Wasn't going to let them define me. Chance to rebuild, protect Leo. Ensure neither her nor Chad ever hurt us again. Wasn't gonna waste it. Apartment eerily quiet after papers signed. Leo's laughter, playroom, welcome contrast to silence clinging to every corner. Sarah, ex-wife, not officially, retreated. Signed papers, no fight. Demeanor wasn't over in her mind. Tried to talk, reason, rewrite story. Every time approached, made it clear, no coming back. Jake, can we talk? She asked one evening, soft, hesitant. Doorway living room, wringing hands, child stealing cookies. Didn't look up from book. Nothing to talk about. Please, she insisted, step closer. Just need you to understand. Understand what? I snapped, meeting her eyes. Lied to me. Lied to us. Stole from own family. Fund life with another man. What exactly supposed to understand? Eyes filled tears. No guilt. Wasn't supposed to happen like this. Cracking voice. Didn't mean to hurt you. But you did, I said sharply. Hurt me, hurt Leo, not just mistake. Calculated choices. Don't pretend victim. Flinched at words. Pressed on. No, I messed up. But I love Leo. I love you. We can fix this. Don't, I interrupted, hand up. Don't dare say you love me. You don't do this to someone you love. Leo, lucky I'm letting you see him. Tears fell freely. Didn't soften. Couldn't. Not after everything. Want to make it right. Desperately. Please, Jake. Tell me how to fix this. Can't fix this, I said coldly. Damage done. Only thing you can do, accept consequences. Stood there, shoulders trembling, crying. Then futility, turned, walked away. Next morning, tried again. Not tears, desperation. Cornered me, kitchen, making Leo breakfast. I'll do anything, she said, shaky, determined. Full custody, move out, even stop seeing Chad. Please, don't take Leo. Sighed, spatula down, faced her. Not about Chad anymore, I said. About trust. Broke that. Can't trust you to put Leo first when spent months putting yourself first. But I've changed, she insisted. Realized how wrong I was. Doesn't that count for something? Shook head. Not to me. Maybe time. Rebuild something with Leo. But don't skip consequences just because regret them now. Face crumpled. First time, genuine remorse. Never thought go this far, she whispered. Thought I could have both. Both, I repeated, voice rising slightly. Thought could have husband who trusted you, son who adored you, lover on side. Thought could drain accounts, light a face, still keep life we built. What fantasy living in? No answer. Just stood there, floor, searching for explanation that didn't exist. I loved you, I said, voice quieter now. Trusted you with everything, threw it all away. For him, some smug con artist who didn't even care about you. Head snapped up. He cared about me. Bitter laugh. Did he? Because standing here looks like cared about money giving him. Tell me, has he reached out since served papers, offered help pick up pieces? No answer. Look on face told me everything. Chad abandoned her, moment things got tough, just as predicted. Made your choices, I said finally. Now you have to live with them. Next few weeks, every tactic in the book. Apologies, promises, tears. None changed anything. Stayed firm, focusing on Leo, future building for us. One afternoon, packing her things into boxes, she came into the room, pale, drawn. I'm leaving, she said quietly. Found an apartment. Looked up, surprised. That was fast. Figured what you wanted. Voice bitter. Made it pretty clear. No place for me here. There isn't, I said bluntly. Not anymore. Nodded, tears brimming. Still see Leo, right? Hesitated, then nodded. Supervised visits, per agreement. But that's all. Swallowed hard, blinking back tears. I'm sorry, Jake, for everything. No response, just watched as she turned, walked out, carrying weight of choices. Door closed, strange relief. First time, apartment felt mine again. Ours, mine and Leo's. She was gone. With her, lies, betrayal, poisoned our lives. Wasn't ending envisioned, but one she'd chosen. Time to move forward. Day she moved out, quiet, too quiet. Leo at parents, happily oblivious. Stayed behind, overseeing movers. Carried out last of her belongings. Absence, apartment oddly hollow. Stage after actors gone, lights dimmed. Yet first time months, unfamiliar sensation. Peace, movers gone, door closed, deep breath, looked around. Apartment still standing, despite everything. Walked through rooms, different now. Living room, shared laughter, quiet evenings, felt neutral. Blank canvas, new story. Kitchen, countless meals, her and Leo, no longer weight of lies. Just kitchen. Place to cook, create, rebuild. Spent rest of day cleaning. Not needed it. Needed it. Scrubbing away stains of betrayal. Cathartic. Reclaiming home, one room at a time. Boxed up last photos of us together. Attic. Heart to throw out yet. Couldn't bear to look. Apartment no longer ours. Mine and Leo's. Parents brought Leo home. Living room, play area just for him. Blocks, rug, stuffed giraffe, couch, new shelf, books, toys, toddled in, eyes lit up. "Dada!" squealed, running, arms out. Scooped him up, held him close. "What you think, buddy?" asked, gesturing room. "All for you." Clapped little hands, grin, moment, stress, anger melted. What mattered? Not betrayal, not lies. This happy, healthy son needed me more than ever. Weeks followed. Through my self-building life revolved around Leo. Reorganized work, more time with him. Stability, love he deserved. Weekends, park trips, pancake breakfasts, lazy afternoons, block towers. Nights, bedtime stories, whispered promises, always be there. Not just Leo. Rebuild myself. Betrayal left scars. Refused to let them define me. Started therapy. Never thought needed. Best decisions ever made. Talking pain, anger, doubts. Helped see clearer. Not just victim, survivor. Threw myself into work. New project. Back burner years. Good focus, productive. See fruits of labor. Slowly, started feel like myself again. Not man before betrayal. Stronger, wiser. Friends, family. Hesitated tell anyone full story. Embarrassing. Admitting failed. But word got out. Surprised by support. Friends, years no contact. Reached out. Kind words. Encouragement. Parents, always strength. Stepped up. Couldn't imagine. Integral part Leo's life. Love, attention needed. While I rebuilt. Even Mark, lawyer, more than legal guide. Confidant. Beers one night, said something stuck. "Jake, been through hell, didn't break you. Says a lot about man you are." Held on to those words, replaying darker moments, reminded me betrayal devastating, hadn't destroyed me. Still here, standing, fighting better future. One evening, Leo bed, living room, coffee, blank wall, wedding photo used to hang. Everything happened. Lies, confrontation, fallout, months, consumed anger, hurt. Now, first time, free. Apartment no longer empty, full of possibility. Place Leo and I create new memories, free from betrayal. Laugh, grow, heal. Sipped coffee, silent promise. Wouldn't let past define me. Wouldn't let her actions dictate future. Leo deserved better. So did I. Fresh start. Easy. Perfect. Hours. First time, long time enough. Months turned year. Life rhythm. Felt normal. Not old normal. New one. Trust. Resilience. Unshakable bond. Me and Leo. Chaos consumed me. Betrayal. Lies. Anger. Chapter in story now. Pages turned. New narrative begun. Divorce finalized. Quietly. She didn't fight. Couldn't. Evidence overwhelming. Knew it. Signed papers. Agreed supervised visits. Leo. Promised. Repay money drained accounts. Wasn't enough fix everything destroyed. Start. Visits sporadic best. First, tried regular. Gifts. Forced smiles. Leo didn't respond way hoped. Toddlers intuitive. Clung to me. Wary of her presence. Stranger. Guilt palpable. Over time, visits less frequent. One day, uncomfortable drop-off, lingered door. Jake, hesitant. Does he even remember me? Turned, studying defeated expression. He's young, I said evenly. Remembers people who were there for him. That's what matters to him. Face crumpled, tears welling. No energy console her. Made her choices. Live with them. Priority, Leo. Protecting, nurturing, stable, loving environment. Life without her. Simpler. Freer. Through my self-consulting business. Grown from idea. Something substantial. Good focus. Building new, entirely my own. More freedom. Spend time, Leo. Days full joy. Morning pancakes, syrupy smiles. Afternoons park. Laughter echoed louder swings. Evenings, books, eyelids drooped. Every moment reminded me why fought so hard. Protect him. Wasn't just building life myself, building one Leo too. Life-free lies, betrayal, life full love, trust, promise, brighter future. One afternoon, Leo napped, scrolling old photos. There we were, 3 of us, smiling camera. Picture-perfect family. Looked closer. Cracks missed before. Forced smiles. Distant glances. Images weren't memories anymore. Remnants life no longer recognized. Without hesitation, deleted them all. Not anger. Bitterness. Release. Moments didn't define me anymore. Didn't define us. Leo and I building something new. Didn't need photos weighing down. Weeks later, email Mark. Final restitution payment received. Over. Officially, legally, financially. Closed laptop, walked Leo's room, stacking blocks, elaborate tower. Hey, buddy, I said, crouching. What you building? Castle Dada, he said proudly. Little face lighting up. Smiled, ruffled hair. Castle for a king, huh? He grinned, nodding enthusiastically. Moment. Realized something. Life I had now wasn't just fresh start. Life always meant have. Life free be father Leo needed. Life unburdened lies. One evening, tucked Leo bed, wrapped tiny arms around neck, whispered, "Love you, Dad." Chest tightened emotion. "Love you too, buddy," I said softly. Walked out room, quiet apartment. Sat couch, coffee, stillness wash over me. Apartment, once tension, betrayal, now sanctuary. Thought back everything happened. Betrayal, confrontation, legal battles. Odd sense gratitude, not pain. Strength revealed in me. Faced worst, come out stronger. More determined, create better future, my son. Leo's giggles. First words. Way looked at me. Complete trust. Moments mattered. Not betrayal. Not lies. Just love we shared. Life building together. Freedom wasn't forgetting past. Erasing it. Learning from it. Using it shape better path forward. Wasn't just free her lies. Free to live, grow, give Leo life deserved. Sipped coffee, window, sun dip below horizon. Storm passed. Scars remained. Didn't define me. reminded me what I'd overcome. This was our life now, mine and Leo's. First time felt at peace, free. Dear listeners, if you were in this situation, what would you do? Share your thoughts in the comments below. See you in the next story.